Hi Shiva, let's begin. How do you handle errors in Power Automate?
I handle errors using try-catch patterns, scope actions, configure run after, and sometimes parallel branches. I place risky actions inside a scope and add another scope for failure handling, like logging or sending alerts.
Great. What is configure run after?
It's a setting that lets you decide when an action should run, for example, after the previous step has succeeded, failed, been skipped, or timed out.
What is parallel branching?
Parallel branching allows multiple actions to run at the same time. It improves performance and is useful for long-running independent tasks.
How do you create approval workflows?
I use the approval connector. I can choose start and wait for an approval or create an approval depending on whether I want the flow to pause or continue and wait later.
What is the difference between those two?
Start and wait for an approval pauses the flow until the approval response is received. Create an approval only creates the approval and continues the flow. You must capture the response using another action.
How do you use variables in a flow?
I initialize variables at the beginning, then use set variable or increment variable actions to update them. They help store temporary data inside the flow.
What are scopes used for?
Scopes group multiple actions together. They make flows organized and are essential for error handling. You can track success or failure of the entire group, not individual steps.
How do you work with expressions?
I use the expression tab inside dynamic content. Expressions help perform operations like formatting dates, manipulating strings, and applying logic using the Power Automate workflow definition language.
Explain Power Automate Desktop.
Power Automate Desktop is the RPA tool of Microsoft. It automates tasks on a local machine like desktop apps, browsers, legacy systems, and repetitive manual tasks.
How is RPA different from cloud flows?
Cloud flows automate cloud and online services. RPA flows, or desktop flows, automate UI-based tasks and legacy apps where APIs are not available.
How do you call a child flow from another flow?
I use the action run a child flow available inside solutions. The parent flow passes parameters to the child flow, and the child flow can return output back.
Why do you use the HTTP connector?
It allows flows to call external APIs and services. It's typically used for advanced integrations like Azure, custom APIs, or third-party systems.
How do you handle pagination?
For actions that return multiple pages, I enable pagination under the action settings and set the threshold number. This allows Power Automate to retrieve more than the default limit.
What is concurrency control in Power Automate?
Concurrency control lets you limit how many flow runs occur in parallel. It's used to avoid data conflicts, especially when updating shared resources.
Suppose you want a flow to trigger only when a particular email arrives. How do you do that?
I use the when a new email arrives v3 trigger and apply advanced filters, or I use trigger conditions to filter based on subject, sender, or keywords.
What is a trigger condition?
Trigger conditions are logical expressions that decide when a flow should start. They prevent unnecessary flow runs by validating the trigger data before the flow runs.
How do you use JSON data?
I use actions like parse JSON, compose, and select. JSON helps in handling structured data returned from APIs or connectors.
What does parse JSON do?
Parse JSON converts raw JSON into structured fields so I can use them as dynamic content in later actions.
What is a solution-aware flow?
A solution-aware flow is created inside a solution so it can be exported, imported, deployed, or integrated with ALM processes.
And finally, what's the difference between automated and instant flows?
Automated flows trigger automatically based on an event, like email received, item created. Instant flows trigger manually by a user through a button, Power Apps, or mobile.
Please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.